today's live stream, I use this tool called Zoom It, right? It's available on Microsoft. It's been around for a long, long time. When I used to be on the road doing presentations, live seminars all over the place, 100 cities a year I used to travel, doing live seminars to groups of like anywhere from 4 people to 125 people. That was cool. And well, I used to use this tool called Zoom It to zoom in and out. And you see me doing it nowadays. Let me go right back over here and let me show you. Now that we're right here in Excel, and you see me doing it all the time. You see me doing these drawings like this, drawing circles, drawing arrows. Then you see me zooming in like this at 7 Habits of Effective List. I'm not really going to cover that today, but I'm going to mention it. And Zoom It has a new feature because I got a brand new computer. I've been upgrading the studios. And, Zoom It has this new feature which allows you to screen record. And there's a shortcut for it. It's called Control 5. And I'm not used to that shortcut because I never had that feature before. And yesterday, during the end of our live stream, when I was showing you how to take this right here and convert it into a mini dashboard like we have right here using formatting. Well, while we were doing that, I pressed Control 5 by accident. It kind of jammed up everything. And I was able to make it through to the end of the live stream because we don't get mad, we get skills. And I'm doing it over today because I got a few of you that messaged me and say, hey, Billy, can we go through that all over again? So yeah, let's do it today. It's important. It's a Excel formatting for dummies that'll help you keep your job. That's right. It's real simple. So why don't we go right ahead and let's get right into creating this mini dashboard from this list. This is known as a list. It's also known as a range of data. So when you hear me call this a list or hear me call it a range, it's the same thing. Think of it. It's a list. Item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a list. And as long as you organize your data properly, that's why I always focus on the basics. Because Excel builds on itself. 7 steps to Excel success that you're always going to apply. And there's 7 habits for effective lists. Excuse me. It's getting a little warm in here. It's been weird here on the 9th island. It snowed yesterday on the 9th island. Can you believe it? The Mojave Desert. We had snow. And the 7 habits for effective lists. Look, what I'm going to use right now is called a custom fill series. More on that on another stream. But here we've got habit number 1 of an effective list. You always want to have a header row. Habit 2, you want to format the header row so that we can tell that it's a header row. You want to build the list from the top down, not from left to right. Make sure that you don't have any blank rows separating your data. And there's going to be another live stream that I do where I specifically spend time on the 7 habits of effective lists and we demonstrate it, but that's not today. Today we're taking this list right here and we're turning it into this beautiful, nicely formatted mini dashboard. This is all formatting. Yeah, formatting. You thought formatting was just adding currency symbols and borders and colors? No. Formatting is so much more. You got to check out yesterday's live stream. We spent a whole hour talking about formatting. Hang in there with me, my friends. Go ahead and tap into the chat. I wish I could see what y'all are saying, my friends on LinkedIn. Don't use merge cells. I know you love merge cells. You want to be merging cells all the time because merging cells look cool, but it's not one of the 7 habits of effective lists. Item number 6 of the 7 habits for effective lists says do not use merge cells. There's something I recommend instead. Merge across a selection. Look right here. You might want to say, hey, I want to merge these 2 cells because the reason why we can see what is here is because this cell, E13, is empty. What we have right here on D13, and I know it's called D13, why? Because the name box check it out right over there, is telling me that that marquee is on cell D13, and the formula bar is telling me that the contents of cell D13 is text. Merge these two cells. The only reason that we see in cell E13 some text is because there's nothing there. So this is just overflowing. The moment that I put something in E13, we're not going to be able to see that. So let me just type the number 1, because you number 1. Bam. See? Now we can't see the rest of it. It's still there because when you look at the formula bar, it's telling us the contents of cell D13. So if we go to the next cell, E13, the name box right here, E13, and there's so much, we can have a whole 1 week of nothing but the name box features. The formula bar is telling us that the contents of cell E13 is 1. All right, cool. We can always double click, and there we have it. We've expanded. But wait, this was about merging cells. So you're saying to yourself, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge these two cells right here. So you go to your home tab, or your formatting options are, and in your alignment group, you see merge and center. So you're like, okay, cool, boom, merge and center. And what did the 7 habits for effective lists say? It said don't merge cells. Don't use merge cells below the header row. For example, here, this is a merge cell. It's okay though. It's above the header row. Here we have, here we have the header row. And we have what's called a title row above it. That one can be a merge cell, and that one is a merge cell. It's not bothering anything because it's above the header row, and you should always have a header row because that's habit number 1 for effective lists. So when we go back to this list, we see that we got this merge cell right here. What to do instead of merging cells? Let's just undo that. Now these two cells aren't merged. What you can do, because you want it to look like they're merged, you can just select the two, right click, and then go to format cells. Right over here, format cells. Or you can go to your home tab and look at your alignment group, and you can click on the alignment settings dialog box, and it takes you right to your format cells dialog box. And then right here we see in the text alignment where it says horizontal. Let's go ahead and let's click on that drop down. And we can say the horizontal selection can be centered across the selection. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press OK. And it's centered across the selection. Boom. But it's not merged. So that's something that you could do instead of merging cells. And the 7th habit for effective lists is to be consistent in naming and formatting of your data. I did it again. I spent a whole bunch of time teaching you something I wasn't going to teach you, but it's important to know. So come on, y'all hang in there. That's why it's okay to drop in. Just drop in every once in a while. Sometimes there's all kinds of weird comments that come in on the chat. Must be chat bots. All right, that's a Twitch comment. I don't know, it's got nothing to do with Excel. So here we go. Let's go right ahead and let me show you how to go ahead and convert this list into this. I'm going to go right ahead and select that column, and I'm going to press Control- to remove all that. I'm going to put my marquee in cell A1. I press Control Home. Control Home is the shortcut to take me to my home tab. Control Home. And now I'm going to press the shortcut Control plus the letter T. You want to get into this habit of applying Control T to all your ranges of data, your list, because you've heard of Power Query, right? Power BI. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you've used it. If you've used it, you know that it only likes to work with tables. So if you try to import this list right here, it's going to say, hey, you can't do that. It's got to be a table. So might as well start working with tables. So your data analysts, your data scientists, they're going to be thankful. So I'm going to put my marquee in the data, press Control T, and now the Create Table dialog box appears. Now pay attention to what it's asking me. It says, where's the data for your table? And it's selected it. There we see the Marching Ants marquee. That's what that's called, Marching Ants marquee. And we've got the option to select, my table has headers. In this case, the table has headers. So we leave that check. Excel wants headers. How else are we going to know what this data is? It's February. And then we're going to apply more formatting to, okay, what kind of data is it in February? It's the February sales. So that's got to be currency. So let's go right ahead and press OK. Now notice what's going to happen right up here. Once we convert our data into a table, now we're going to have a contextual tool tab with our table tools. There's so many tools in Excel that you can just spend your whole career in one tab. And if every tool that is in Excel was available to us all the time, the whole screen would be filled up and where we're going to be working. We wouldn't have any room. So certain tabs only appear based on the context that we're in. So now when I press OK, there's the table. Isn't that cool? Now that's another way to apply these zebra lines. Some of y'all call these zebra lines. They're actually called banded rows. And the quick way to apply banded rows is to convert your data range into a table. Let's say you have this right here. Let me take this right out right here to remove that, Control minus, and I'm going to Control A to select all my data right in my home tab. I'm going to go ahead and clear all the formats right here. Clear formats, and there we have it. So now watch this. Let's say that we wanted to add the zebra lines, in other words, banded rows. I've seen people do this where they'll go and they'll right click, they'll do a fill, and then they'll use the format painter, double click on it, click, click, and then they'll go click, 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 you know, like that. And that's how they did it. And they did it. I mean, this is only 20 rows, 22 rows, but imagine you got 220 rows and you're doing that. And then somebody else goes in and inserts another row of data, and now you're all jammed up. There's an easier way to do all this, right? You can just press what? Control T. That's right. Control T. Boom. My table has headers because it does. There you have it. Now we go to table design and we're saying, look, you know, we're going to pick what we like. We like actually this blue right here. That's what we wanted. And now look, when you're working the table, if I'm going to insert another row, it keeps all the formatting just right. You see that? It didn't just make another blue. It keeps it that way. And so let's say you didn't want a table. You just wanted to apply the banded rows real quick. So you can just apply the banded rows, then go back to your table design, and then go right back over here and convert it to range. There's more features we're going to go into in a moment. Convert it to a range. Excel is going to say, hey, is that what you really want to do? And you say, yeah, I do. And now you're not in a table anymore. Notice there's no table tools. But you did put your banded rows, your